If I could get your attention, I want to kind of make sure everybody can hear the speakers are right here on me, so I feel like I'm really loud, but I understand in the back. No? Let me see if I can get it closer. How about that? Is that much better? All right. It is time to begin our Vietnam War commemoration ceremony. We are here tonight to thank and honor our Vietnam veterans and their families for their service and their sacrifice. By presidential proclamation, the commemoration extends from May 28, 2012 through November the 11th, 2025. During this time, the nation will recognize the service and sacrifice of all who served on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces from November 1, 1955 to May 15, 1975, regardless of location. No distinction is made between veterans who served in country, in theater, or who were stationed elsewhere during the Vietnam War period. This was a challenging period in American history. A grateful nation thanks and honors you, and we consider it a privilege to take part in this 50th anniversary ceremony.
If you're able, would you please stand and join me with the invocation, please? Father, we thank you so much for the community you've blessed us with. We thank you for the people who live there, for the people who work here, and for those who visit. We thank you for our veterans and for the service that they've given and for their families also. And now, Lord, we ask that you would bless this program and this gathering. And we pray that all that's done would be your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Attention, callers. Host, would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you may be seated. Thank you so much. Notice to the left of the flag colors, there's a chair. It's called the empty chair in veterans organizations, and it represents wounded warriors, or not wounded warriors, but missing in action. DOW MIA. You'll see the same flag below the U.S. flag colors on our courthouse or on our city hall here. You'll also see it at the courthouse in Erin. You'll see it at the city hall in Erin, and you'll see it at the post office. So the empty chair is available. It's there at all veteran service meetings, and it's there to represent those who are prisoners of war or missing in action. We've not forgotten them. Thank you.
We, the old Reynoldsburg chapter of the the Daughters of the American Revolution, our motto, God, home, and country. In partnership with this 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, we want to commemoratively recognize those that have given their lives for service. for their sacrifice for our country's freedom. Let us not forget those who we have lost. And in appreciation for your service, we welcome you home.
Good evening, y'all. Boy, it's great to see you. What a wonderful turnout and crowd here tonight. Excuse me, where you going to there?
Yeah.
Come ahead, ma'am. Wow. I had the opportunity today to spend some hours up here in your county, in Houston County, in Erin, and out by the lake, and just wonderful. And you hear a lot of things out there on the newspaper, in the newspapers and on television about the talking heads. And they honestly don't know what it is about this country. It's right here. It's you. It's tonight. This is what makes America great. It's not the talking heads. Believe me, it's not. Now, thank you for being here tonight. And I'm going to begin with a few names for you. Bobby Benson, Jackson, Tennessee. Jerry Allenheimer, Memphis, Tennessee. Danny Carlton, Greenfield, Tennessee. William Pappy Farrell, Stanton, Tennessee. Philip Ray Warfield of Erin, Tennessee. These are but a few of our community and our state servicemen who paid the ultimate price that we honor today. We're here today as part of an overdue event to welcome home our Vietnam veterans. I want you to know something. Every veteran, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, no matter race, gender, color, rank, or religion, every one of us took the same pledge. We all wrote a blank check payable to the people of the United States of America in the amount of and up to, including our lives. I'm guessing some of you are wondering why I'm here today as your speaker. Well, last year I wrote a book called The Ghost of the Green Grass about my experiences in Vietnam in 1965. The book's been pretty well received. In it, I tell the story of my battalion, the 2nd Battalion, 7th Cavalry, in a terrible ambush of 17 November 1965. It was the single bloodiest day of the entire 10-year war. Our battalion, our little 300 and something plus, suffered the highest casualties of the war in one day for one unit for a single action. We were awarded over 250 of the Purple Hearts for wounds received in the action. The largest number ever to be awarded to one unit for one battle on one day in history. 4 months later, after I left that battlefield, I was back on that same battlefield on Operation Mosby as we tried to interrupt the North Vietnamese infiltration from Cambodia. This time we were lucky. The biggest fight I had was those ghosts that we had left on the battlefield. Earlier, as General Hal Moore had said, for the soldier who has survived a war, there is no closure. He has an obligation, yes, a sacred duty, to remember all those who fell in battle beside him all his days, willing to bear witness to the insanity that is war. As an untrained second lieutenant, battalion communication officer, on 17 November, I found myself caught in the middle of a killing zone as an ambush hit our 350 men. We were tired. We had not slept in 3 days. We had no water resupply. We were overloaded. And we were just plodding along in 2 columns, over 600 yards long, and just moving from one point on the map to another. We were just going. There were no enemy out there, we were told. When our movement suddenly stopped, we figured we must have been there. So we dropped our packs, lit them up, smoked and joked, and kind of relaxed for a few minutes. About 20 minutes, all of a sudden they called forward all our leaders up to the forward part of the column. Seemed our recon had stepped on 2 enemy soldiers out in the middle of the jungle, nowhere, right beside the clearing that we were going to. Captured them. So they brought all the leaders up forward to assess. What does this mean? Oh, and while you're up here, let's figure out if this is the landing zone, then where's your company going to be? So we sat there for about 20 or 30 minutes, a column of 2 strung out. We couldn't see one another. One column was 100 yards away from the other. Tropical grass, elephant grass, triple canopy jungle separating us. And during that pause, over 600 North Vietnamese infiltrated our column while we were sitting there relaxed. All of a sudden we heard some shots up front, and suddenly chaos just erupted all over us. We were under attack by 1,100 North Vietnamese regulars. 600 in the middle of us, 600 attacking us from another direction. Back in the column, we were caught. Every time we got several people together, a grenade or a mortar round seemed to take them out. Maybe it was a machine gun. Many of our headquarters men that were out there had not fired a weapon since their basic training. And the inability to see clearly just compounded the problem. Plus the fact that they were being shot at. Scrambling around, trying to find the front of the column or the leadership, I finally got a working radio. And I called up to the headquarters, asking for instructions. What I got was this answer: just do your best. We have our hands full up here at the front. So, by then the firing was coming from all directions, the flanks, the trees, the briars, everywhere. So as an untrained second lieutenant, I learned about leadership, OJT. Years later, I heard Hal Moore, again speaking of leadership, say, in baseball, 3 strikes does not mean you're out. There's always something else you can do. And so it was for me, stumbling around that killing zone, desperately trying to figure out where to go, how to get there. No map, no compass, and every time several of us gathered, we seemed to draw intense fire, killing at least one of us. Finally, as night neared, Lieutenant Butch All scrambled down to me. I asked him, which way to go, Butch? He indicated we need to go west through the tall green grass. Okay, Butch, you lead us out. Right as he started to move, we were strafed by an Air Force A-1E coming in over the top of the trees. He waited, and finally he moved out. All of a sudden, he moved into the grass. I was never able to find him again. Laying there, in failing light, I could hear the NVA walking amongst us, executing our wounded. I scrambled some more. I finally reached some more headquarters guys. They were wounded. They were scared. But one of them was worse than the others. So we tried to carry him. No luck. His injuries hurt so badly, he screamed and draw fire. Finally, this A-1E made another pass over us and dropped napalm. The men I had gathered around me then just scattered like quail, leaving me with the badly wounded Spec 4 Garrett Lee. He was a big guy, big man. I tried to drag him, but he would lose consciousness, loss of sleep, loss of blood, and pain. So I lay down beside him as he breathed his last. Alone, I found myself in stupor. I crawled away and fell into a ditch. I nearly landed on 5 scared, wounded GIs, none of whom I knew. They were bad off and begged me to lead them to safety. seconds. I could hear the distant firing accompanied in seconds by the swish of artillery coming in. Hell, now we were being fired on from all sides, including our own artillery. There was no way out. We had 7 rounds of ammo between us. One man's eye was hanging out from beneath his bandage. The others were not any better. So it seemed our only chance was to escape and evade toward the artillery base 2 miles away and see if we could make it to safety there. Night fell, it was inky dark in the jungle. I bandaged up the wounded as best I could using parts of my uniform. We agreed to would touch each other all the way out, and we crawled out, all 6 of us, for 2 miles through the jungle, through the enemy that night. And finally, on the dawn of the 18th, I led them into landing zone Columbus, 2 miles away, all safe and all survived. But today I want to speak to you of other stories. Some stories to set straight this criticism of the American soldier in Vietnam. We were called to service. We answered that call. We answered that call with character, with honor, and heroism. I want to share a few of those examples with you today. Speak to the words of this honor and character. The ones that reflect truly on Shakespeare's Henry V, A Band of Brothers. It was Bob Jones, one of our company clerks. He was 24 years old. He was going home the following week after this battle. He was out there caught in the cauldron of the ambush, but he survived somehow. The next morning, as the dead were being collected, Bob said, "Wait a minute, this isn't right. We need to record the names." So crying, he found an ammo can and sat down on them and recorded those 155 names of his friends. Bob went home the following week, never mentioned anything about his service in Vietnam, much less what he had been to. He later became an alderman in his community up in Massachusetts. Dr. Bill Schuchart, who kept countless wounded alive by tearing their uniforms and bandages and loaded nothing but water. He retired as chief of neurosurgery from Tufts University in Boston. John Ede, a young NCO, an extraordinary hero. He survived 7 bullet wounds to become an architect. He lost one eye. Russ Wilson, one of my radio operators, wounded badly, survived Vietnam and became a vice president of a manufacturing firm. Russ has a wreath placed every Christmas on the grave of one of his friends, Jim Holden, over in Millsboro, Delaware. Jim Epperson. Jim Epperson was one of my Spec 4s. Jim sends Christmas cards to those he served with 50 years ago still. This past Christmas, he sent a special one. He sent one that was designed by a gentleman named Dave Mendoza. Mendoza had been killed on the 17th of November, 1965. And then there was Jim Sagerhorn, shot up, spent 19 months in the hospital, and finally got out and he hitchhiked 1,000 miles to Buffalo, Wyoming, out of the hospital, to tell the family of Ernest Taylor, his buddy who died beside him in battle. Folks, your son was a hero. He was a good soldier. George Wasenko, one of my privates. He visited all the families of the men that he served with who lost their lives. Dick Ackerman, one of our good guys, ended up being a truck driver. Comes to every reunion, never misses one. Never misses the opportunity to hug a vet that he was with. Jim Lawrence, a successful realtor down in Alabama, has deep pockets. When it comes to helping out any of his men, he stands up tall. Henry Dunn, artillery, forward observer, wasn't supposed to be out there. He cares for his fellow artillery FO who lives up in Minnesota named Bill Lunn. And the list of names goes on and on, all over the United States. There aren't but about 40 of us left now, just a handful. But then there were the real heroes, the ones that did not come back. Don Cornett, Butch Hall, Ron Miller, Jerry Heimer, Pappy Farrell, Danny Crawford, Luther Gilreath, all from Tennessee. And he keeps going for another 150 names. And then there was that special one. He was an immigrant. He was an English immigrant, one of those we weren't supposed to let in nowadays. Well, He was a warrior, he was a scholar, he was a true friend. He died on 9/11 in the Second Towers. He personally saved 2,500 men and women that day. The building collapsed on him. His name was Red Chris Goyle. So we feud, we happy feud, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile. This day shall gentle his condition, and gentlemen in England now dead shall think themselves accursed if they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, while those that were with us, that fought with us at St. Crispin's Day, shall be quiet. Today, here in Erin, Tennessee, we're here 50 years later to remember those who fought and came home to a nation they loved. Today, we mark the inauguration of a 10-year celebration to welcome home our Vietnam veterans and honor them. We came home alone to deal with a nation that did not know how to love us. They didn't know how to respect its Vietnam veterans. Many came home only to be blamed for a war that they did not start, instead of being commended for serving the country with valor. Many of us came home and simply put aside our uniforms, attempted to deal with our combat memories, and went back to work and began our families. We founded small businesses. We climbed the corporate ladders. We volunteered with the Little Leagues. We joined the JCs. We became active in our churches. We taught our children how to say the Pledge of Allegiance to a flag that we honored. Some of us silently suffered from physical and emotional wounds. We seldom spoke of our time in Vietnam. And while we relived over and over again how the war might have been fought differently, we continued to believe that this nation was indeed a shining light on the hill, a beacon of freedom for the rest of the world. And that's why we're here today. Today our nation honors the depth of those sacrifices. Today we're here to welcome home all our brothers and sisters who answered that call to serve beside us during that turbulent 10-year struggle. Today we're no longer young. We waited a long time to say with pride, I am a Vietnam veteran. Thank you for all you did to help us keep our nation safe.
Carry on, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Bud Alley. I would like to now ask Houston County Mayor Dee Clark to come up to the stage, please.
Mr. Alley, I truly would like to thank you for your service to your country and to all the things that you and your people that you serve in here help us preserve freedoms that we all enjoy in this country. We're very special. This country is very special because of our service. Today, we are able to go to the churches that we want to go to, freedom of speech. All of those things are made possible because of our service. Because there's lots of other countries that don't have that. And I don't know what, it's just not enough to be said for these people. They gave of their time, especially the Vietnam veterans. I think, and he mentioned some of the talk that's been made over the years about the Vietnam veterans. And our government has not truly served them the way that they ought to. But I think that's changing. I think they've finally seen that these servicemen deserve the respect and the services that were offered them and told them that they would give. And I think we're seeing that happen. But on behalf of Houston County, and as myself as county mayor, I personally want to thank you for the service that you did for our country. Thank you.
Village City Mayor Stoney Odom.
That's like G.E. said, there's nothing that we can say that can repay the debt that y'all paid to your country and the cities like Tennessee Ridge. If it wasn't for you guys going and doing what you did, we probably wouldn't be standing here today. And there's no words of gratitude that we can say to appreciate the things y'all did. And we are more than glad to host this at Tennessee Ridge at our new city hall. The crowd is I can't believe everybody showed up. It's we're more than glad to have y'all up here. Use this facility. It's yours, and y'all deserve it.
Hearing City Mayor Paul Bailey.
I would like to say thank you to you, sir. I'd like to say thank you for all of you that came out tonight. Recently, I had the opportunity to speak with a veteran, and he was telling me a story, and he was telling me some stories about things that had happened to him, but one of the things that stuck with me is he said he went away from here a boy, he came back a man. And I would like to say thank you tonight to all of you who went away and you came back, and for those that didn't come back, whose lives were forever changed because they went away an innocent boy, came back a man or a woman, and have served their country to ensure my freedom. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it.
As you are called to the stage, if you'll please step to the side over here. We would like to get a group picture of everyone after we're done. You can come up, you can come to any of the three mayors, and they will present you with the pen and the proclamation. Harold Edwin Baggett. Randy T. Baggett. Roy Eugene Baggett. Roy Carroll Baggett. And you can come down the middle aisle and see the other mayors as well. Jerry Barnes. Guy Terry Beard. Eugene Bell. Richard Bogus. Bobby L. Boren. Landon C. Sonny Brake. Billy Brocci. Robert Bridgman. Robert Brown. Jerry Bryant. Edmund Rozier. Jerry Butcherelli. Raymond H. Carter. Robert H. Carter. George Edgar Clark. Donald Edward Cooksey. Mickey Doherty. James Edwards. Robert Benny Elliott. Vernon Ray Elliott. Danny Estes. David J. Phelps.
What's going on?
Raymond Boyd Finch. Alton Fowler. You can start standing over here to the right-hand side. Jerry Adams Fazell. Anthony Gautier. Paul Gooden. Herbert McMurray Gould. Harry W. Griffin. Charles Luther Hendry. Raul Hernandez. Max Herman. Pat Herman. Daniel Holloman. Stephen James. Dale Jackson. O'Neal Johnson. Raymond Kresge. James Kurtz. Charles Blair. Mike Lewis. Charles Legan. Rodney Earl Lowe. Joe McClure. Charles Michael McCall. Charles H. McDowell. Jimmy Sidney McMillan. Jimmy Milan. Paul Moody. James Douglas Parchman. William Robert Parchman. Randall Delano Pate. Alfred P. Piramico. Sherman Pollard. Billy Tom Reddick. Ronald H. Roper. Jimmy Neal Ross. Jeff L. Schellenbarger. Roger D. Singleton, Sr. Mitchell D. Smithy. Howard Young Spurgeon. Larry Steppy. Jim Story. Dickie Ray Sykes. Freddie L. Sykes. Artie Roland Tanner. Donald Ray Tomlinson. Lyndon Villeneuve. David Warfield. Philip Warfield. Fred L. Wilson. Donald Wyatt. Frank West Young. Robert Young. Christopher W. Zimmerman. If there's anyone that served that did not register, if you'll please raise your hand or stand so we can get your name. You're welcome to take pictures. I know we got a lot going on.
hell out of me.
First of all, I would like to say on behalf of the Houston County Leadership Class, thank you for your service. And it's an honor today to be here to present the table and the benches that are out front on a special day like this as we salute our Vietnam veterans. Our class sincerely hopes that this veteran park gets lots of use from all and for many years to come. Again, thank you for your service and the sacrifices you made for our nation, and welcome home.
You can now be seated.
I don't know, I ain't sure.
Hello, Donald.
How are you doing? Good, good. Oh, yeah, I'll make those. Yeah. But you know, though, the older you get, that's up I know.
I'd like to thank tonight, first of all, Teresa Mitchell for putting, she has worked. She was up here at 5:30 this morning getting chairs, and she just worked all week, or more than that, on getting this together. And of course, the city of Tennessee Ridge, I'd like to thank on behalf of my staff here at the Ridge, Nancy. She's our chief financial officer here, and the guys, Jerry, he got an award, but the guys, they've all worked on the grounds and getting all this put together. And, of course, the Houston County Chamber of Commerce for doing all they've done. The Historical Society for providing the speaker system tonight. All these groups have come together and helped put this on. And if you see any of these people out, thank them. And the Old Reynolds chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, for furnishing the wreath tonight. They furnished that. I'd like to thank Malik for playing the taps. That's Nancy's grandson. We thank a lot of him up here. He's been coming around Tennessee Ridge for a while up here now. And I know he's looking to pursue his music, his career in music. So you see him, thank him tonight for that. Traditions Bank, they provided the agenda flyers tonight, and Houston County Sheriff's Department, the sheriff's here tonight. He has took over. I'm sure the parking is I know one of our new growing pains that we're facing now is parking. So we're looking at that. We can deal with that up here. Thank you, Sheriff. You and your men, thank you.
Yes, sir.
The ones that brought the memorabilia in, be sure to pick that up when you leave. And our Veterans Park, as Kathy was talking about, we here at Tennessee Ridge, Herb and I was one day at wherever Herb went. We were sitting over Teeter's one day. He can verify this, he's in the back. And I told him, I said, Herb, I'd like to do something out front of the new city hall for the veterans. I said, if there's any one group of men that deserve recognition, it's our veterans. And of course, Herb agreed. And he has took off with this. Of course, I'm just dragging along his coattails. Him and his wife both have worked on the plaques we have. If you haven't seen the plaques, they start from the Revolutionary War all the way to the Civil War over here. And the one in the back is up from the Civil War up current to date. And I urge anybody, their family members, that you want a dog tag on the plaque, come by and see Nancy. They're $20. We keep one, give you one. And we're going to display them on the wall here in Tennessee Ridge. We're going to have a whole wall dedicated to the men and women that served in our armed forces, displayed on this wall, along with some other stuff we're working on. We planted two, along with leadership, Houston County Chamber of Commerce, the Boy Scouts. We planted 250 trees on the grounds here for a walking trail. It has really been, we've been blessed. It hadn't cost the city, the taxpayers, a dime. As you all know, Traditions Bank donated $40,000 for playground equipment. The Lions Club, the night they walked in together, I had no clue what was going to happen that night. When Traditions Bank gave us $40,000 and the Lions Club gave us $12,000. And I mean, it's for you guys, the veterans. We dedicate, of course, the city owns the land, but we're dedicating this to you all. And we hope you and your family, your grandkids come up, use the playground equipment. That will make everybody here at Tennessee Ridge happy. So we want you to use it. It's free. You all deserve it. Y'all paid the price. Y'all walked the ground it took to get it here. So with that being said, Teresa, have you got anything else?
No, we have refreshments.
We have refreshments.
And the speaker, I'm sorry I didn't get to do his introduction, but Mr. Bud Alley, he's sitting in the back over there as you go out. He mentioned writing a book, and he does have that book with him if anybody would like to purchase it.
With that being said, guys, I'm sure y'all have all heard this before. Dismissed.